Well, joining me is Michael Morris here in the studio. Michael's hit the headlines over the years due to a conflict with people over a property, and I'll get all the details exactly in a second from you. This is in Ramsey. I remember it as the Peveril Hotel. In fact, I used to work there as a child in the school holidays. You've renamed it Bleak House.
Yes.
This conflict has gone on for some time. Now, as I said, you've got to be very careful because of legalities, and we'll come to how it's affected you in just a minute. But can you first of all give us an outline of what's happened without getting us into any hot water, please?
Please, yes, and I have to try and avoid that. The problem is, and it's not a conflict, I've just been trying to restore the propriety to the building by way of getting the leases back into effect for the last 20 years or so.
I mean, you don't own it, do you, as such outright?
No, no. The company I set up owns it,
right.
Which is only a £2 company and doesn't have any beneficial interest. It just has titular interest in order to conform with the leases.
Okay.
As far as the leases are concerned, there are three parties to the leases. There is the owner, who's only a titular owner, who leases it to the beneficial owners, which are the leaseholders, and the third party to the lease is the management company. And the leaseholders all have to have shares in the management company, which maintains the building.
Okay, so this old property on the promenade in Ramsey, which was a guest house.
Yes.
You were living in there?
When?
You have lived in there at some point, have you?
Most definitely, since 1994 until 2010, when we were evicted by the local authority.
Evicted, I mean, it looks quite run down, doesn't it? I mean,
it's totally run down, but we had managed to maintain the integrity of at least 3 good apartments in the back there, and they were still in good working order. Nonetheless, we were evicted.
Now, over the years, you have had this conflict, and this has led to various court cases, I think. Many court cases, which is exactly why I don't want to go into any territory that will get me into trouble.
Sure.
And I suggest people actually look it up on, maybe online, you'll get much more detail of what's gone on over the years. Because this has appeared in the papers numerous times.
Yes, indeed.
Anyway, it's culminated in you now potentially losing your property where you live now because it's going to a coroner's auction.
Yes, we had to, from Bleak House, we had to move into another building which we'd just bought, and I was, as a project, was doing up and restoring another lovely old cottage called Sulby Bridge Cottage, because it's alleged that I have defamed people, and there are damages in that respect which I don't have the money for anymore. That is to be auctioned, even though it's seized and it's jointly owned by my wife and I. It's to be seized and sold tomorrow, in fact.
Now, you have had a stay of execution, I think, because I first heard that this was going to happen last week or a couple of weeks ago. So you have succeeded in putting it off?
No, it was just put on hold while there was a little bit of a thought given to it. But that thought was not very constructive, and it's gone back on auction now, tomorrow.
So potentially on tomorrow, you'll be homeless, will you? I mean,
I'm homeless already. I was evicted yesterday.
Right.
And I all of my possessions, which are still in there, because I intend to move back into it, of course, because it's my only home at the moment, are still there. But apparently, I think they would probably have been trashed by
well, you don't know.
Whoever.
You don't.
I don't know.
No, so let's try and.
I'm led to believe that all of the circumstances indicate that's what's going to
allegedly,
happen.
let's put that word in there.
Okay.
But why did you take it this far? Why didn't you just sort this out, or do you feel? I mean, again, without naming names,
sure.
Why could you not?
I have been trying very hard to resolve this problem and get the building back in order for the last 20 years, and I've been totally obstructed and harassed in all of these attempts by the Manx governance, including the local authority, central government, and the judiciary, and particularly the judiciary.
In your view, you were harassed?
In my view, I've been harassed.
And even when all these court cases came up and you were found that you owed the money for defamation, I think, and things like that.
Yes.
You didn't sort that out.
I didn't have the money, and the other major wrongdoing by governance is all the way through these until the early days, if you like. Since the early days, and I think it was 2005 when I was dumped by a particular advocate who was working for me then. I was dumped by them for no good reason, and I've never been able since to have the services. I've tried, the Law Society has tried amongst its members, but nobody will take my case on because of the gangland mentality amongst the judiciary.
So where can you go after this happens? I mean, what's left? What course of action have you got left?
Fine. If I can't get it resolved on the action, and even now, still at this late stage, I was in the Attorney General's office this morning asking for them to assist with the stay of everything. If I can't get it done with the least possible damage on the island, it will have to go to the island. We'll have to go firstly to the Crown, and then beyond that if necessary. The Crown, of course, is the Lord of Man. She is the ultimate responsible for here. Even though it's a self-governing one, she is ultimately responsible.
Do you accept any responsibility for what you did, though? I mean, do you accept you had to fame people and you did things like that?
What I have done, I have always done in good faith for a good reason, and I don't believe I have ever done anything which was wrongful. If I had, I would admit it and I would say so and I would apologise.
So this seems to be a case that you just have got one side and obviously everyone is on this side.
The establishment won't help me to restore Bleak House. That is a gross wrongdoing. And it has been harassing me in order to shut me up. There have been gagging orders made against me, totally gagging orders. Not reasonable restraint orders, and in fact just yesterday Deemster said she would not issue another restraint order against me,
right.
Even though it seemed to be what was wanted by the opposition.
So the outcome of this is you're going to take it to the higher authorities?
Taking it as far as I can take it. I mean, I'm amazed that I've been able to take it this far on the island. The top 3 legal representatives on the island have said and upheld that there is no problem with the leases. That's absolute madness. Just look at the building. There's no problem with the leases.
Okay, well, we'll leave it there because it's a tricky one to do because we
Very
can't
tricky.
go into details.
No, I greatly appreciate this opportunity to put the situation across to more people.
All right, well, you'll find more information if you Google this whole thing, Bleak House or Peveril Hotel in Ramsey. It all comes up there.
Absolutely.
This has been going on how many years did it start?
Well, I took an interest in the building in 1994 and I was going to buy it. It was up for sale. My lawyer said, "Oh, you can't buy it because there is no management company."
Right.
So I leased it then until 1997 when the leases were, the bust-up ownership had gone to Treasury. Treasury said we will release it to the leaseholders in common if you pass it on to a management company after that. That was a condition whereby they said they would release the freehold to the leaseholders. That went ahead and the leaseholders became the owners of the freehold, but they have not then, since then, set up a management company. I've been trying to. The main leaseholders downstairs, 60% leaseholders, will not do it via their advocates.
The building looks in a terrible condition. Is it going to survive or will it have to come down, do you think?
No, it must survive. I want it to survive. Right. It's a beautiful Victorian building. It can be survived. Structurally, it's brilliant. Inside, it is totally trashed.